Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Bikini and the Brain podcast. My name is Ashley Kaltwasser, and I'm here with Adam Bonilla from TeamElitePhysique.com. And I would say we're definitely rocking the coolest shirts ever known to man today.
This is a yes.
You got fuzzy doodles all over.
I know, I wore the sweater.
Look at this. It looks like a bug.
Do you want to know the story?
Look at this.
I'll tell you the story. Okay. Yesterday I moved. Something happened in my car. And the battery won't start in my car, and so I had to Uber from my other house to here, to this house, and ride the scooter to the gym today. And it's like 40-something degrees. There was ice on my scooter. First time I saw ice in Vegas, there was ice on my scooter, and I was like, okay, and the only thing I had was they send me like these sweaters that are like not promo sweaters, but like testers to see if I like it. Prototype, I guess. I don't know, to see if I like them or whatever. And it was in the plastic bags, the only thing I had that was warm enough to ride from my house to the gym. So it was freezing cold in my brand new shirt, and I knew it was going to be fuzzies all over it, and you called me out. But I bought this shirt for you.
I love that shirt. It is very stylish and definitely something I could get down with for sure.
Yeah. I was looking at it yesterday. I will show them. I was looking at it yesterday, and I was like, you know what? Ashley's always mad at me for only wearing black at the podcast.
And for our listeners only, it's a nerdy turtle riding a bicycle.
Yes.
That is epic. And then speaking of epic, you actually got me this hoodie, and it is a sloth riding a llama with headphones in outer space with floating pizzas and burritos.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it's very random, but I love it.
Well, there's tacos on it too. That's great.
Yeah, well, I said burritos if we're going to get technical.
There's burritos and tacos.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Look at that.
Wow,
I definitely bought you that.
Oh, heck yes. I love this so much.
It's so random. You can probably look at that and find a whole bunch of random things in there somewhere.
Sloths are so cute.
Yeah.
Dude, they're so freaking cute.
Okay, so you guys know Ashley's favorite animal is a sloth.
They're adorable. They just eat all day, and they move so slow to conserve their energy.
Which is the opposite of you.
And I remember watching this one video that came across on my feed like a few months ago, and it was a mama sloth crossing the road with all of her babies on her back, and like the traffic stopped for the sloth crossing, and it was just like so painfully slow, and all the cars are just like chilling there. Like it took forever for it to cross the street with its babies on its back.
I have a theory that you like sloths because that's the life polar to yours.
I guess you're right.
It's the exact opposite life.
You're right.
And one of these days you're like, I just want to live that sloth life. just always moving. Well, you live like a roadrunner life. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Or, one of those hyperactive monkeys.
Yeah.
Those little guys, little hyperactive monkeys.
That's funny.
Yes.
That's great. So anyway, mine's a dog. I love dogs.
You're so basic, bro.
I know, but I love dogs. One of these days, that's one of the businesses I want to do one day before retire or whatever, is I want a doggy daycare. And I want a doggy school bus where we go around. I want to go around and do it too. I've already thought of it. I'm going to buy a school bus. I'm going to empty it out. And then I'm going to put like little holes in the side. And then I'm going to have a way with a little ramp where the dogs can walk up and get in, but they can't get out, like a little doggy door. And then you just go around, you pick up all these dogs. And then when you're driving down the street, you'll see all these dogs with their heads sticking out, these little holes. And everyone will love it. Everyone will love it. And then you just take them to your little doggy place.
Oh,
that'd be so cute.
What about the
cats?
What a
life.
What about the cats?
Cats can stay home. Cats can stay, they're fine. You're going to get a cat on a bus. The doggy school bus.
True.
That's living the dream right there, Ashley.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. You're just not too much of a dog person to do that.
No, I don't like dogs. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get canceled. I'm sorry. I'm a cat person, guys. I'm sorry. If you want to unfollow me, I totally understand, but I like cats. Cats have my heart.
She likes the dudes. You give the dudes an occasional pet.
Yeah. I don't hate dogs. It's not like that, but I much prefer cats because they're just much more independent, low maintenance, and they're just a little more sassy, and they know what they want in life.
Yeah,
they're not as needy.
If you're ever I know of two of them. One's in Denver and one's in Japan. They have cat cafes where you can go in, get a coffee, and then there's just 20, 30 cats walking around, and they come and pet you, and you can feed them like lollipops. We've been to two of them. The one in Japan was definitely better.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but still pretty fun. Anyway, random intro today. That was a fun intro.
Yeah.
What there's some life updates for you. Speaking of life updates, I know someone who got invited to the Arnold.
Oh, really? Who is that?
This girl named Ashley. I think she's gonna fare okay there.
Oh,
I think
Ashley
she'll
who?
fare okay.
Who? Ashley who?
Ashley K. Ashley Kaltwasser.
Oh.
She's you might have heard of her if you're in the bikini world.
Oh.
She's done a few shows.
I heard nothing but horrible things about her.
Yeah. Yes.
I heard she's a nerd and
She's addicted to competing. That's what I heard.
I heard she competes too much.
She's in CA, Competitors Anonymous, and so yeah, are you excited?
I am. I'm excited, and it's so crazy that we just competed in the Arnold because of the COVID. They pushed it back last year,
that's right.
And now it's happening like in 3 months. But even before the Arnold, I'm doing the first show of the freaking year here. So it's a nice little warm up here in Vegas. The Muscle Contest Legends Classic, February 5th. And then Arnold in the beginning of March. So it's a nice little warm up, a little tune up, see if I need to adjust or fix anything, a little preview, and then heading down to my home state of Ohio.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm excited to go to that one. And it's been a little while since I traveled too. So now I get to go to that too. That's going to be fun. And actually, it's nice to go to the Arnold in Ohio and like be like, okay, things are back to normal, you know?
Yeah, I think they have the expo back, so that'll be more normal feeling.
Yeah.
Because this year, I should say, wasn't the case, right? They only had the divisions, but not like the expo or any of the other sports.
Yeah.
So.
I'm really excited for this one. This is going to be I'm actually really excited for it. And it's a good group of girls too.
As always.
Yeah, I mean it's the cream of the crop, you know. But it's definitely, I would say, it's right up there with the Olympia in terms of excitement. I'm probably more excited about this actual bikini lineup competition because it's like, you know, it's only like 11 girls and it's going to be, it's not like 50 girls, but I'm more excited about the Olympia's Expo. And then, so it's like, it's like back and forth. And then the Olympia probably, it's just this year though. This year, the lineup is so good, you know? So I'm really excited to see this one. It's going to be fun. I'm like, as a fan and a coach in this one.
And it's exciting that we have 2 Team Elite Physique girls.
Oh, yes, Phoebe's there.
At the Arnold this year. So Phoebe got an invitation as well. So, now you got your hands full, Adam.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, that's pretty easy. 2 people. I mean, really, it's just 2 people to help. So it's pretty simple, you know. Mm-hmm. But more pressure, but 2 people. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So.
Do you have any amateurs competing in the Arnold?
I'll have to look on the because we have all the coaches.
I'm sure they don't even know yet, but yeah.
Me personally, I don't. And then some of the other coaches, you know, we just had nationals, so we have to see what they're going to do after nationals. We'll have to see what the girls who just finished their shows if they want to go to a bigger show. We have to see. The other issue is too is like usually I'm like, oh yeah, we got 6, and I know right away. But then when the other issue is, okay, I don't know what the other countries are going to do for letting the girls fly in. So I don't know 100%.
Oh,
yet.
right. And I think most people don't even make that decision till like the beginning of the year because that's like the 12-week out mark, which is pretty standard for prep. And that's when they're like, after the holidays, they're like, okay, I'm going to do it or I'm not. So
you get a lot of girls coming off shows right now that are like in there, just starting their off season. They haven't really thought about it. And then the main ones are, I have some really good girls overseas that want to come. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, okay, can they come? Will their country or our country allow it? And, you know, there's always some weird things going on right now. Which I can't wait till that's all done. It's so annoying.
It's such a process to fly overseas. I'm telling you, from visiting Europe a few weeks ago, gosh, it's not like it used to be, you know? Yeah. It's so much more complicated to get over here and to travel to different countries. It's like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stress.
Well, so we'll see. So hopefully I'll see some of you guys at the Arnold. If you see us, say hi. Don't be afraid to say hi. I always get like people who will not say hi and then they'll DM me and then they'll be like, hey, I saw you, but I didn't want to bother you. And I'm like, no, just come say hi. So. Yes,
anyway. Don't be shy. Come say hi.
Oh, Ashley, it's Monday. Too early for those rhymes.
Oh.
So what are we doing today? What are we talking about today?
We're going to talk about goals because you know what? New Year's, we should be thinking about what are our goals moving forward and maybe the best way to approach these goals, you know? So, I wrote up a little list here, and I think we should talk about it. And even the goals that we achieved already in 2021, because it was quite a year.
It was.
Quite a few goals have been met, and even looking forward for us for 2022, even more goals on the horizon. And I'm sure many of you have goals that you would like to achieve as well. And so let's go ahead and get into it. So Adam, in this year of 2021, what goals did you accomplish?
Well, we opened and moved the prep center, which was pretty cool. This is definitely a way better prep center than the other one, for sure. That was huge, and it was taxing and tiring, that's for sure. That was like a lot, moving to Vegas and whatnot. But I'm really happy. I really like Vegas a lot. I love the city of Vegas a lot more than the city of Denver. I will say the community in Denver is in fitness community was like second to none. Those guys were just awesome guys. And I do miss that. I miss them a lot out there. Cause I think it was because I was there for so long though. I was there for 10 years and I just knew everyone, Like I'd walk in, I remember when I'd walk into a show in Denver, like literally like 30-40% of the people I knew, or I trained someone that they knew, or their wife, or their friend, or their whatever, and like it was just like it was nice. But here it's like it's starting over again, so it's kind of different. But I mean, you got to remember I was there a decade, doing the prep scene for forever. But so the community in Denver was really nice. But I really like the stuff there is to do here. We got a good fitness community here too, so I'm happy about it. Yeah, it was good. It was a good move. It's still getting used to it though. Still like getting it going, so I'm happy about that. One of the main goals in 21 was to, and I hate saying these things out loud because I think it indirectly puts pressure on you, but it's not supposed to. It's just it's like a personal goal for me.
It's okay.
But it was to move you up the ranks.
Yeah.
It was actually to gain 1 or 2 slots at the Olympia. That's
a very modest goal. That wouldn't put pressure on me. It was my goal too.
Okay, yeah. So I was like, okay, we could move Ashley up 1 or 2 spots at least next year. Like get her in that top. I would love to get her in. I was like, I would love to get in the top 4. That would be sweet to get back in the top 4 or something. And then we did that. We did better than that. Got you in that top 3. That's crazy. Yeah. That surpassed the goals.
That was one of mine too. I didn't necessarily have a number in mind. However, I wanted to reverse my trend because since 2016, I went down a place each and every year, and it was so annoying. Every year at the Olympia, I would move down one place, and I'm like, this is frustrating. And, a lot of it was due to just stupid mistakes and stuff, and it was like, I just hated even thinking about it. So I was like, I want to reverse this trend and start moving up rather than back. Yeah. And I made a big jump. So not just one place up from last year's, or I should say, depending on when this podcast gets posted, in 2020, I got 7th. I was like, I want 6th or better for 2021, and we got 3rd. So we exceeded my goal, that's for sure.
Yeah, and the growth opportunity for you, though the window isn't huge, there's some there, which is nice. I would say out of all the girls in the top 5, you have the most growth opportunity in terms of basically what I look at is like, okay, what's the potential of how much we can do to her body before it becomes too much? How much room is left, or is she maxed out? Yeah. And I think that you have in that top 5, you have more room, and I think this year we can actually get it. So that's really cool too. So the goal would be to when you're top 3, it's hard to be like, okay, more, but that's the goal for this year coming up. But top 3 or better. I'm happy with 3rd though too, but I do.
Of course, we always want to do better. Yeah. I mean, we don't want to ever just be like, yeah, this is good. I'll just just coast, chill. No, we should always have goals to do better. Even if I got 1st, I feel like we can still. There's always things you can do better,
Then it comes down to posing and hair.
Yeah, I mean, some of it is that, but I think speaking of the physique, which we were mentioning, still can work on the upper body a little bit more, although it is catching up big time with my lower, because that's always been the issue. Is just my hamstrings and my glutes can grow significantly easier than my upper body. maybe that's my track background or probably mostly genetics. It's just I can't grow my shoulders as easy as everything else. But I think we've kind of evened out a little bit more this time. And then also the big goal as well, speaking of glutes, is like I always felt like I had really good glutes, like from the side, like bubble butt kind of glutes. Like they would pop out in my front pose. You could see that I had a nice little shelf going on. But for whatever reason, like when I turned to the back in my back pose, I always felt like they weren't as impressive from the back as they were from like the side. And I'm like, it doesn't make sense. I know I have glutes. I know I have hamstrings, but why aren't they popping as much in the back pose? But we finally like resolved that. And now my glutes look great from the back as well. So that was like a big like, whoa. We did that. So I'm happy about that as well. But like you said, there are many things we can improve on. And hair, makeup, posing, all that stuff goes into it as well. But I can't wait for, the next show so I can like show off my progress. So.
Yeah, and then the I will tell you what the goal wasn't. The goal definitely wasn't to break the record this year, because that goal would have been so crazy to even say at the beginning of the year to like, because it's like an impossible goal to do that in 1 year. Like that was a 2-year goal. And if you guys don't know what I'm referencing, Ashley won enough shows this year to break the record for all time most winning ifbb pro. That definitely wouldn't have been a goal, because I would have been, it's impossible. What was it, 8 wins, right? For you to accomplish that in 1 year. Like, that's crazy to say that out loud. I'm like, what if we said at the beginning of the year, yeah, I want you to break the goal, break the record this year? You'd have been like, you're crazy. That's 8 wins. I've only done, at my max, 8 shows. Like, there's no way that's going to, like, I would have said, yeah, that's probably a 2-year goal. That's like a 2022 goal. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I don't think that was a goal until you got to like 28 or 29.
No, I didn't even like think about that as much, really. I think you were more hyped about that part than me.
Pretty cool.
But it is cool. It is cool to think about and to say, I kind of still don't believe it's real in a way. I'm just like, how did I do that? Like, that's a lot.
First to 30.
That is a lot of W's.
That's a lot. I mean,
I'm just trying to think back, like every time, like all the moments on stage where they announced me as first or whatever, and just trying to be like, whoa, that happened 30 times, 30 winning preps. Lots of cardio and chicken and broccoli.
Lots of chicken and broccoli.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that Oscar Mayer was gonna give you a sponsorship.
Ew.
Who does the chicken? I get all my.
Tyson.
That's how little.
Even better sponsorship, Trifecta.
I was gonna say I get all my food from Trifecta. So I don't even know who makes vegan.
Who makes chicken?
I haven't bought food from the grocery store, like meat, in like years, like 2.5 years, 3 years from Trifecta, something like that. So yeah,
they're good to us.
I eat their burgers, like their turkey burgers. That's all I eat is like their turkey and their bison patties now. Ooh. Like that's pretty much my daily, like every meal. It's pretty funny. I haven't gotten sick of it because of the barbecue sauce that you got me hooked on.
Oh, barbecue.
Who's that guy? G. Hughes? Is it G Hughes? G. Hughes. If you guys don't know of G. Hughes, sugar-free barbecue sauce, any meat tastes delicious. It's like 5 calories a tablespoon? 10 calories
I think it depends on the flavor. There's a few different, but it's like 5 or 10, yeah.
Yeah, it's very little. So
good stuff.
What about you? What goals did you accomplish in 21?
Well, I did want to, okay, so in previous years, I've competed, my most I've competed in a year was 8 times in one competition season, right? And this year I competed 14 times. And I kind of wanted to experiment or test myself if I was able to hold up through multiple shows. And I sure did.
You did.
So I surprised myself how I was able to kind of maintain. And of course, I've had a few shows here and there where I was a little off. Not saying that every show was, better than the last. But I think in general, I really got to say, wow, my body hung on really nicely, better than I thought that it could. And it was kind of like eye-opening for me, because then I realized I can do this next year too, and even more. You know what I'm saying? So I hope to compete even more in 2022, knowing that I can handle it, my body can handle it. I'm happy, I'm healthy, no injuries, no signs of slowing down. I'm not tired. I'm ready to go. I want to compete more than 14 times this year.
It's pretty wild. Good for you.
Yeah.
I'm on board. I'll be at as many as I can. I think it's awesome. Oh, most of the West Coast ones. I should say this. I love the East Coast in terms of like the people, the environment, I love the people. The people are my people. Those are like, if I was anywhere, it'd be Miami. Like I love Miami people, like Orlando, Miami, Florida. To be honest, it's probably my favorite state, even though I live here.
Miami's not a state, but...
Well, Florida, I guess. but getting there is the worst. I do hate getting to the East Coast because like by the time you catch up in terms of like the time difference, and then the flights that leave from here always suck. The flights that leave from here are always like that midnight flight, and then you get there like at 6 a.m. or 8 a.m. for when you land, and you can't get into the hotel, and you're tired because you've been up all night, so you sleep like you're up like all day, and you can't get in the hotel till like they check you in, which is like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And so
I never get those flights, Adam.
Well, I have to work here first.
Yeah.
So that's the problem.
Because of the time. Yeah, it jumps ahead.
Yeah, and so you don't catch up until like Sunday, and then by the time it's Sunday, you're coming back, and then you're like just so messed up. So once you're there, I love that place. But I'll go to most of the West Coast shows. I've done all of the West Coast.
And you're gonna come with me at least to one that's not in the States.
Yes.
Well, technically, in the Caribbean. So there's a show. I believe it or not, I've been to so many countries, so many continents. However, I've never been to the Caribbean, and I want to go so bad. How crazy is that? Like a lot of people go to the Caribbean. It's like a very popular vacation destination. Yet I've never been to the Caribbean. There's a few shows this year that are in the Caribbean, and you're gonna come to at least one.
Yes.
So I think it's in the Bahamas is the first one.
That'd be fun.
So we're gonna do that one, even though it's on the East Coast technically.
That's okay. And then
I gotta hold you to it.
I want to go there, and if you do the Puerto Rico Pro, I want to go to that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that'd be fun. Anyway, yeah, it was so funny we go these little tangents. I think I'm trying to think of any other goals that I had in this year. You know what's funny is I guess like in terms of like company wise, like Team Elite Physique, we of course we did better this year than last year, of course, but the goal is always to like kind of stay where we're at, not really grow, but stay where we're at. Make sure all the trainers on the team grow within the team, and that happened. Everyone's doing good, everyone's happy, and everyone's grown. So that's always like the main goal for me nowadays. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's think, what's up.
Yeah, I mean, I had real estate things that I wanted to do. I did those, but those are easy. You just buy it, let it sit there. It's not like a lot of work.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, you killed it in all aspects of life this year, Adam.
Well, thank you. I think you did as well.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yes,
I try.
You're the hardest worker I know.
And
you count
and the grittiest person you know.
Grittiest, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hardest working person it'd be harder to work harder than Sam, I would say.
Sam's a beast. I hope she hears
Sam,
this.
Yeah.
And Tori is too.
Yeah, it'd be harder to work harder than them.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a harder than that. But you work harder in a different way though too, because you do your clients, you do all these preps, you do all your photo shoots, your social, this podcast, you schedule everything out. I see you just work hard in a different way. It's mentally tough because I don't know. I
look at them and I look at you and I think you work harder than me, I guess. But I don't know, maybe
we have different jobs.
It's hard to compare, right? But I don't know. I just feel like you're always going someplace or doing something, so I feel like you work harder than me for sure. Yeah. But maybe in a different way. But we're both pretty gritty though.
Yeah, I would say so.
You guys better check out the Grit podcast if you didn't know what we're referencing.
A couple podcasts ago.
Yes, exactly. But speaking of which, one of my, I guess, maybe it's not a goal, but a resolution, because I've been so lazy with this, and this is the opposite of hard work, but I've gotten so freaking bad at posting social medias, especially with my YouTube. So hopefully 2022, I can get more videos and stuff. Not that it's like I'm obsessed with that aspect, but it does help with branding. And, I want to document my life and my time. And I'm having like these awesome adventures and great memories. And I want to keep that as like a little online diary. So I need to be better with that.
Yeah, that's what I like about the vlogs too. Because I don't, there hasn't been too much going on where I could be doing vlogs right now. But that's what I like about the vlogs. Because I know like I don't get that many views on my vlogs, like a couple thousand or something.
Oh, I watch them.
Well, thank you.
I like them, and I comment.
Yes, you do.
Sometimes I say first to comment.
You're my best commenter every video. You're the best one.
Gotta show support.
You're my most consistent. And then it's funny. And then but I look back, you know, like because even the other day I looked back at the prep center ones. Like I looked back at those vlogs, I was like, man, that was freaking hard. Like you don't think about it. You just come to work.
Exactly.
You just come here now and it's like, whatever, it's here. But like, that was a grind, man. That was an absolute grind. It really did like drain me for a while. So that's why I'm like, I'm happy to be done with it.
Oh yeah.
But you know, I'm gonna do another one eventually, for sure. A bigger one.
Oh, for sure. That'll
be like the last one. There's a couple like, that would be the last one though. Like I have to, the next one has to be huge, it has to be the last one. So I'm not gonna do it another time after that. But first, before that happens, we're still building this wall. We're gonna do some cool things next year. So
building the wall.
That's my goal for my next year goal is to have the local area.
I don't think they know what you're talking about building the wall though. Because they're gonna think it's a political reference.
Yeah.
Maybe you should add context to that.
Yeah, add some context. Okay, so we're building a wall. I'm not going down to Mexico personally and building this wall. We're building a wall outside the prep center, which is going to be like an outdoor workout area. I looked at it today because I talked to them again today. I submitted paperwork. September 10th, I initiated the paperwork. So I still am not approved for it. Like at the wall, they have all the things done for the wall outside, but we're going to make it an outdoor workout area. We're going to have team lifts. We're going to have our posing classes. We're not going to do posing classes every weekend this time. We're going to do them like once a month, maybe twice a month. And then we're going to do them with like an open gym. We're going to do barbecues. We're going to get more gym equipment. We're going to move a lot of the gym equipment that's like upper body outside. And we're going to have the inside have a lot more lower body stuff. So it's going to be, try to make it like one of the best like lower body wellness and bikini training gyms like out here. Just be like saturated with leg equipment. So that's the goal. We'll see though. It's really hard to get equipment in from overseas right now. They're like because of the whole containers and backup. So I'm hoping to get it done in time. But I got to get the wall first built before I can get the equipment. Otherwise, it's going to be just a bunch of equipment sitting here. So and then I can't buy the equipment, so I know for sure I can get the wall. So it's this whole thing. So now I'm getting delayed. It should have been done by January.
Oh.
Not even close. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, true. But speaking of goals, it's important to set goals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it gives you a sense of direction, and it can boost your motivation. You know, because where would we be without goals? We'd just be, meh, kind of like directionless. You know, just like just a day. But a lot of people don't realize there are a few different types of goals: daily, short-term, long-term. Daily can be defined as being easily achieved in a day or so. And in fact, these can be recurring goals. So, you know, maybe if you are prepping for a show, a daily goal could be, I did everything I was supposed to. I did my cardio, got in my lift, and ate everything that was on my meal plan. That would be like a daily goal. And these daily goals over time can accumulate to being a larger goal or a long-term goal. Short-term goals, it's this type of goal setting is aimed at the near future. These are easier to achieve than long-term goals and are typically within the weekly, monthly time frame. Again, these goals are stepping stones to long-term goals. So if daily goals are stepping stones, short-term goals can be more like bridges too. You can look at it like that, right? More like bridges versus stepping stones. And maybe a short-term goal example could be competing in your first bikini competition in 8 months, right? So they kind of like these little daily goals that can accumulate to short-term goals, and short-term goals can then accumulate into long-term goals, which long-term goals are a goal that can be a goal that you would like to achieve over years or a stretched period of time. These are the hardest goals to achieve because you are not seeing any huge achievements regularly or daily. And to tackle this problem, you can break down those short-term goals and kind of accumulate them into like long-term goals. So what I'm saying is like that long-term goal, it might be big, it might seem so out of reach because it's so far away. But if if you break that down, make them into short-term goals so that you have little like milestones that you meet, it can oftentimes become easier to achieve that long-term goal knowing that you hit milestones along the way rather than it just being like a one day I'm going to do this kind of thing. So I think that's important to realize because a lot of times people want to make it this huge goal, right? But if they don't have any like milestones to hit, they're not going to have the right direction to go into to achieve that long-term goal, right?
Yeah.
It's just basically the long-term goal at that point just becomes a thought. Like, one day I'm going to do this, Adam. And you hear that all the time. Those are the people that, one day I'm going to do this, And it's like, well, what's the plan? And then you follow up with them. And then like months later, it's like, one day I'm going to do this. It's just like that, tomorrow never comes kind of thing, right? Because you're not making any steps towards that big goal, So that's, the way I set goals is I break mine down into little goals, and then those little goals become bigger goals, and the bigger goals become like those long-term goals.
Yeah, and you're actually pretty vocal about that. I don't know if you, even when you're vocal about it, if you've meant it in that capacity, but you naturally have done that since I've known you. You're like, I don't like setting big goals, and I'm always the opposite on that. I'm always like, no, I like setting huge goals, but I'm able to do the small goals along the way without like. And then I think about them, am I closer to that? Am I closer to that? Am I closer to that? So that type of thing. But I think that works a lot with, you could see people's natural mindset. When they're in prep, they're 100%. They're like, tunnel vision, in prep, doesn't cheat, sticks to it like almost 100%, like a really large percent of the time. When you see bikini competitors who are actually prepping, it's like 90% of them are like seriously going after it. Very, very few cheats on their diets when they have a goal. Now, as soon as the off season hits, 100% of competitors say, I'm going to have a good off season. I'm going to do great. I'm going to really stick to my reverse diet this time. But then then it flips. It's like 90% don't and 10% do. And I think it's because the goal isn't there. The short-term goal isn't there. The long-term goal is there for them, but the short-term goal isn't there. It's hard to stay motivated when there's no deadline, no show deadline for that, short-term goal. Mm-hmm. So maybe, in the off season, the short-term goal should be, I want to get my calories to X amount, my cardio to X amount, while only gaining X amount, right? Like right. Be a goal, short-term goal. And so the problem is people don't think like that in the off season, but I think that could be a huge thing for a lot of people if they could just focus on the goal of the off season and what it actually is, because it does. The off season is where that long term goal happens,
Exactly.
And people still don't get that, and it's unfortunate because everyone's always chasing their last physique, their last physique. I just got to get back to there. Got to get back to there. Got to get back to there. And I'm like, you don't look any different than the last time because you grinded so hard this time that you lost whatever you made progress because you're just trying to get to where you were the last time. You might have gained 2 pounds of muscle, but then your prep was so hard that you lost 2 pounds of muscle because you had to eat nothing and do a ton of cardio, versus just, staying 8 pounds, 10 pounds above stage weight and losing a pound a week for 8 weeks,
Yeah.
So I think that is a good thing to bring up in terms of the goal setting like you, because there isn't a goal for most people in the off season. It's just.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because one could argue that is probably the most important time when it comes to making progress is the off season.
For sure.
And just like you said, if you go too far beyond in the off season and you get a little too fluffy, then you're not going to make the best improvements during that time, because when you start prepping, you're just going to be focused on like getting back to where you were basically, and just squeezing by, and I also would like to add on to that is like whenever you are in that scenario where you're just having to lose a large amount of weight in a short period of time and you have to do all these crazy things like extra cardio and minimal calories, not only are you losing more muscle in the process just from doing that, it's just also your energy and attention goes to, okay, cardio, rather than got to get in a good shoulder lift, because although you could do 2 in one day, one of those things are going to Like, you're already low calorie. So one of those things are going to take priority over the other. And when we're trying to get lean, it's going to likely be cardio. So you're going to wear yourself out with a whole bunch of cardio before your shoulder workout later in the day or right after or whatever the case may be. So it's going to be like a detriment even in that aspect, that you're not giving your body parts the time and attention that they would need because you're more focused on getting lean.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, to put on more muscle, you would need the best energy possible, right? And it's not going to be that way whenever you're doing cardio as well. And just even if it's not looking at it from like a daily standpoint, but just knowing that like you're in low calories and you're doing all this cardio, you're going to basically be a walking zombie throughout, you know, the last month or whatever of prep, just trying to get ready. So even in that constant state of fatigue, you're not going to be able to get in good lifts. You know, it's just not going to happen.
I like that walking zombie reference.
Yeah, you know what I mean, though,
Yeah.
right? I mean, even if it's not like, oh, I did cardio earlier this morning and now I have to train shoulders, it's going to be more like you're in a constant state of like feeling like poo-poo.
Yeah, you got to understand. I mean, there's only so much energy you have available. And if you're cutting your calories super low and you're expending a ton of energy with cardio, of course you're not going to get as good lifts. It's just, you know, that's just the way it is. It's just like, there's just no way around that, you know? So, and then on the opposite side of things, there's an energy limit that you have in the gym too. So if you have, let's say you're eating a little bit above maintenance calories, not enough to get, you know, super fluffy, but enough to maybe gain a tiny bit of body fat, but you have all the energy you need in the gym. Well, eating more than that isn't going to give you more energy in the gym. You're just going to store that extra energy. So there's like an energy max. So you want to maximize that in your off season. You do want to get to maintenance calories and have optimal energy from calories so you're not struggling through workouts. But anything more than that isn't going to give you, as long as you're going to use those extra fries and cheeseburger like in the gym for extra energy. As long as you're at your maintenance calories, you have all the energy you need to have good workouts. So why waste that extra energy, have it stored as fat, and then later on sacrifice in the gym how much energy you actually have? Because you're definitely going to be netting less good workouts. At the end of that, when you combine the off season with a lot of extra calories or off season with just enough calories, you're going to net less good workouts towards your in season with that. So it's all like, it's kind of like investing in yourself. You almost have like a savings account worth of energy in your system, right? Like how much are you going to save in the off season versus in the in season when you need it? You know, it's a people don't think about that when it comes to that part of it. They just think, oh, this food tastes good, you know? And I think that there's a little bit of struggle and disconnect with the long-term goal in the off season, just the short-term satisfaction, you know?
Right.
So,
totally. Yep.
we beat up on that a lot, but I feel like people
important, though.
I feel like people are starting to get the hang of it, like starting to be, you know, into this stuff. And like, okay, off season is important, and it is the place where I make the progress. That's where my calories are enough to start putting on a serious amount of lean mass and make improvements, you know?
Right, totally.
So, yeah, but we'll see. I think we're still a few years away from the masses really taking it seriously. But you've been a really good example of that.
I'm trying to, yeah. I mean, I can't be a hypocrite up in here.
Yeah.
And I know from experience, just it's not worth it to go too far in the off season, because like I said, before I met you, I used to be one of those girls that were like in the off season that it's almost like I would eat carelessly because I thought bulking was a thing, you know? Yeah. And it's not. And, you know, from training with you these last few years, it's just like, my preps are so much easier and I'm making way more progress now because I don't have to do exactly what we were talking about. I don't have to chase my previous physique, and I don't have to struggle so hard just to lose body fat when I should be focusing on lifts on certain body parts, right? So that's helped me tremendously. So I can't stress enough how you really don't need to go crazy in the off season and put on intentional fat. Like, you don't need to do that.
Yeah, it's been cool to see because you've taken it farther than, you know, even I knew could go too, because no one's done it. You know, no one's done that type of thing. A long time ago, Tori did it for a year, like where she went hard for a year and she did like 13 shows or something like that. You beat a record, I guess, 13. It was 13. Yeah, because she's like, I want to be the first to do like every show in Denver. And I saw her do it. And And it worked pretty good, and it didn't get much harder towards the end, and that was what I was afraid of. I was afraid that it was going to get so much harder towards the end because the body would be so adapted or something. But what seems to happen is that you get lean enough, and then you can go to maintenance calories and eat a little bit more, and you kind of cover around those maintenance calories deficit. But the deficits aren't as long, and then the maintenance periods are in between, and it seems to be countering any major adaptations, where it's like towards the end of the year where you're like, I thought, we don't know. We still don't know, because no one's doing that. Like, get a group of 100 people and run data on people who are going to do 14 shows all year long. You're not going to find a group that adheres to that.
Right.
So you're like your own experiment, and it's like pretty cool to see.
Definitely.
And it sets a good example because you can't dispute the fact that you're better like at this Olympia than last Olympia. And it's right there, evidence, people can see it. They're like, okay, she dieted all year, she killed herself, and did 14 shows, and she made improvements. She gained muscle, she's leaner, she's happy, she's not sick, she's not injured, she's not completely exhausted, she wants to keep going. No one's saying, I'm not here telling her to do all these shows. Like, no one's forcing her to do anything. She just wants to do them. Like, that tells you right there, she's motivated still, so it doesn't drain you of anything if you're in the right mindset. So it's kind of cool.
Definitely.
And I think that the long-term goal and the short-term goal thing that you're talking about really does make a big impact on that.
Right. And I can say, honestly, towards the end of 2021, like, I was not any more tired than I was in the beginning. Like, I didn't feel a dip in energy. The only thing that did kind of get to me is when I came back from Europe, the jet lag definitely got to me, but that wasn't necessarily competition related. That was being on a plane for a long time and adjusting back to the regular schedule. Otherwise, I would have, if I wasn't so freaking jet lagged after I got back from Europe, I would have done like Toronto and I would have done Georgia, but I just, that was more of like, that was more of the jet lag talking and not the competitions itself. But yeah.
So going into setting those goals, is there any? Well, first off, do we talk about any goals that you have for 22? We did.
Yes,
Okay.
many goals.
Okay. Goals for 22.
I bring up my upper body again, compete even more than I did in 2021.
Okay. Yeah. We did.
Yes.
But going into the next things like tips on setting your goals, which is really cool. You did a little. Ashley's the official producer of Bikini in the Brain podcast. She does these notes and they're so good. I'm sure it's very time consuming. So thank you. So one of her tips, there's 10 of them here. One is make sure your goals are achievable.
Let's be real with ourselves. Is this something you can actually do? Like, would it be a realistic goal for you, Adam, to be like, you know what, next year I am going to be a professional NBA player? Is that realistic? No. So let's start there. Is your goal realistic? I know that there's a lot of optimists out there, but we gotta bring it down, bring it back down to earth. Is this something that's actually something you're able to accomplish, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's a good point to bring it up like that too. Exactly how you did, like NBA player, because there are components of this that you really do need to take seriously. And I get those emails once in a while from people that are like, I'm your next Olympia champion, and I'm like, have you competed yet? Like, let's see, like let's take one step at a time here. You know what I mean? I think it's great that you want to do that, but let's take it one step at a time here. Can you even adhere to what it would take to do that? Like in the basketball scenario, I wouldn't even have the desire to, let's say I was tall enough and had raw athletic ability to the point where if I really honed my skills, I could be in the NBA. Well, do I even have enough desire where the passion would let me do what was required to get there, or would it be more of a job? And I think that's a big factor that's unknown too. Kobe Bryant was so good, not because he was, a perfect specimen for basketball, which he was, and he had raw athletic ability, but that doesn't get to being Kobe Bryant level without the Kobe Bryant motivation, which he himself couldn't even control. He just couldn't. He just was obsessed with it. And it takes that, it does take that. So in reaching these upper levels of these sports, every one of those people that are there are, maybe not every one of them's obsessed with it, but they're very focused. And it's just something that you got to be realistic with yourself about too. Like, do I even have will I even take the actions of whatever goal I pick because I care about it so much? Will I even take those actions, or is it just something that I'm like kind of saying out loud, you know? So
True. Absolutely.
okay, the next one is be clear and specific with your goals.
Right. Probably best not to be very vague about it, right?
Yeah.
Just like, I'm going to be the best.
Yeah.
Okay, well, best what? Like, how are we going to get there? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, it's okay for goals to sometimes be a little bit vague, right? Like, I always say, like, my ultimate goal is to become a legend. But how, I guess those little short-term goals, being more specific and clear about that leads to something, I guess, more vague is okay. But just to be like, I want to be the best, we need to define how we get there, What are the short-term goals that are going to lead you to that? I mean, for me, for example, to be the legend would be the ultimate goal. But I guess winning more shows would be a short-term goal. Competing more would be a short-term goal. Bringing up my upper body would be a short-term goal that leads to the ultimate goal, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I like that. Write them down as a reminder. This can also include photos and any reminders to set your goals.
Yes, or YouTube videos
Yes.
or podcasts.
Yes.
We basically put it out there in the universe, right? Whether that be on paper or even, I'm not to be narcissistic, but I'm my own wallpaper here.
Oh, you changed your wall.
I finally changed my wallpaper after since 2015, it was me at the Olympia in that green suit.
Yeah. I was going to say, since I've known you for sure.
And I finally changed it after I won 30. Now I'm in a red suit in Romania. So that can be honestly like a reminder. Just like, hey, that is what, this is what I'm working for. That feeling of a win or a accomplishment is like a reminder to myself. I love that feeling. I want to continue to have that same feeling on stage again next time or something. So by looking at my phone wallpaper, I'm like, nope, I am definitely going to not skip my workout today. I'm getting in the gym now, So sounds corny, but it works.
Mine is Nikola Tesla.
Your wallpaper?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Tesla.
That's mustache goals. You want that mustache,
I would kill for a mustache like that.
Yep.
Maybe I can grow one like that finally. I've tried, and I get all these little like, they don't grow in deep enough. Like I see these guys with these really thick, and they're like doing these things now where they like fade them. Max does it too. Phoebe's Max, and he has this really thick, manly beard, and then he like fades into it, and it looks so cool. And I can't do it.
Dang.
I get all these patches.
Goal for 2022, Adam B, to grow a thick beard.
Mustache like Tesla.
Yes.
Tesla died crazy and alone. I shouldn't have on my screensaver.
Well,
That's a whole other story. That's a good story. If you guys don't know the Nikola Tesla story, that's a good one.
Save that for
another podcast. No, it's a whole thing. You need to watch a documentary on it.
Oh gosh, I will, and then we'll do podcasts on it. So number 4 tip, kind of going off of the previous one, tell your friends and family for accountability. Again, putting it out there in the universe. Let it be known. Like, Adam, I'm going to do this. Hold me accountable, right? And hopefully, if they're your friend, they will hold you accountable and check up on you for it. Like, hey, are you still doing this and this, or how's this going for you?
And another example could be I've seen people do it where they're starting their transformation and they post their like starting pictures and stuff. I see that a lot with who does it? There's like these challenges that people do, and then they'll put the picture up and they're like 90-day challenge or something like that. I do see that, and I think that's pretty brave, putting up your day one 90 days picture. But maybe you could put it up on your own your phone, or put it on your computer or something like that as like your reminder that you're in this challenge and you don't want to be, you want to improve from that. But I see that too. But when people put it out there on like Instagram or whatever, I'm doing a show, I'm doing this, like everyone's watching, after that point, because you kind of announced it for people to watch, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Actually, there's this guy, I started watching him, and he did the same thing. He was like a magician. And he was on YouTube. He started this YouTube series where he's like counting cards, like he's learning how to count cards. And he threw it out there. And I don't know if he really wanted to fully go through it because it was so much money he was risking to do it on this journey. And he had to go through, it took him 11 months to like learn how to count them. And then he's going through, and now he's showing like this journey to $250,000 that he's going to make, like counting cards. But it started off like he keeps saying, he's like, yeah, this is this is really hard. Like this is really, but he made a series about it, and all these people started watching him because of it. So now he's like following through. So he's traveling all over. But I don't think he would do it unless he put it out there that he was going to do it.
Right.
Because he started off as like a magician, and he had this huge YouTube account, and then he's like, all right, I'm going to do this, because he was already in the card game kind of, you know. So he's like, I'm going to do this, and then he put it out there, and then it was like 11 months later where he started like the first videos, and I think he didn't realize the task of it, and he keeps talking about, man, this is like really hard. So
that's good though, because if you think about it, like you said, like if he didn't put it out there, he probably already would have quit. But like, oh, because we all have those days too. We're just like, it's not worth it. Like, forget about this. But then that little thing in the back of our head was like, you know what? I already made a commitment. I already said I'm going to do it. I already told the world. I got to stick with it. So sometimes that's exactly why we need to kind of put it out there. Have people hold you accountable, you know? All right, the next one. We already went through this one. Set your goals one step at a time. Little goals become the large goals, right? So we already went into that, you know. Don't think of it's good to keep that ultimate goal in the back of your mind, but if it helps you throughout your day to stick with things, little goals, hit the little milestones. Okay, got it. All right, got it. So, but definitely never forget the ultimate goal, because that definitely comes in handy on the days you feel like poo-poo, and you know. So you gotta stick with it.
Yeah, and I think I'll go into, that kind of leads to like another thing of creating like a pattern of days. Creating a pattern, like you have a pattern in your day. You work out at a certain time, you do this. And that was probably, I don't, you know, we've been talked anything about, and now, you know, about like Sean, who just passed away, Sean Roden, you know, rest in peace. But that was like the best thing that he ever told me, was that. And that was like the best thing I ever, he said, just make your day a routine. He's like, as soon as you make your day a routine, everything is going to be very much easier, because you won't have any thought about doing anything else. He's like, if you wake up, he's like, even if you're traveling, he was even telling me, he's like, he was telling Anya this, but he's like, if you're ever traveling or whatever, and you wake, your routine is set to 9 and you land at 10 o'clock, well, you know you're an hour behind your day, and you have to go right to the gym no matter what. Even if you land at 10, you land at 11, go right to the gym. He's like, because it's going to weigh on your mind, and your life is just so much easier having these routines and patterns that you follow. It's like, so create that routine that works for your life and your job and your whatever, and make it so you can't do anything but that. Like, no matter what happens, that has to happen. Your workout, your eating, your whatever is always scheduled. And so that was kind of cool to see, because it was like, I was like, oh, that makes sense. And that's how, you know, he got to where he was that constant routine. And I think that having, you know, when you say, you know, setting your goals and make sure they're attainable and all that, like, that is a big part of it. You know, a big part of it is that routine, that daily accountability to yourself, and just scheduling it, you know?
I'm a big fan of schedules. I'm very much a routine person
really
as well. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like being out of my routine. I don't get as good of workouts, and it just feel off. I like being like, you know what? All right, 6:15, gotta head to Orange Theory, come back, shower, get ready, go to Contest Prep Center, do this, do the check-ins, train, do that. You know what I mean? Come home, prep food. Like, I like the routine though. You know what I mean? I think it does make it so that you don't even have to think. You just do. It becomes a habit. So it's part of that whole like fitness is a habit kind of thing mentality, right? Like the whole health and fitness, it's a lot of habits that just accumulate over time, and you know, next thing you know, you're fit. Hey.
Yeah. I have my routine too, and as soon as I got stuck to it, then now there's no way around it. Like, I have to, and Ashley knows my routine too, so she'll like schedule everything. It's like, okay, you get in at 11, we're gonna do this at 11, whatever. And after that, I'm just here, and whatever I do is, you know, until the work is done, I'm here all day.
Right.
And so Ashley knows she could just schedule whatever she needs from me after that time.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So the next one, set time frames, right? So it's important to have at least a rough idea of like when you're going to accomplish this goal, because what will happen is you'll procrastinate if you don't, and that's never a good thing, right?
That's a good one, yeah, because you're right. You will. Yeah, that's a good, I'm glad, just like that one just like hit me. If people don't have that time-based deadline, it changes everything.
Yeah,
The
it's
time-based
just a
deadline.
thought at that point.
Yeah, the time-based deadline makes everything harder.
Absolutely.
Like, or everything like more real, you know, like it's like a day's gone, you know, so.
And then also next is you can reward yourself when accomplishing a goal, right? But not with food, right? I feel like a lot of people feel that when they hit a certain weight goal or whatever goal, they have to reward themselves with food. And that it's like the most common reward, right?
Yeah.
And post-show, it's like the most common reward. You know, you did 12 weeks of prepping hard. Now you're going to reward yourself with food. It doesn't always have to be with food. Like, there are so many other ways to reward yourself. You already know what mine is. How I would reward myself. Spa day. Yes. Mani-pedi, facial massage. You know, like a day of relaxation, a day of like, I'm going to just chill out the rest of the day in my pajamas and a sloppy bun and watch Netflix documentaries kind of day. It doesn't have to be with food all the time. And maybe for you, it's shoes. I know you like to buy shoes, the most stylish shoes. So find your thing that makes you happy and reward yourself with it. But if it's food and we're trying to hit a fitness goal, that's not going to help your goals going forward. It's not, okay?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right on that. That's something I just started like trying to do more of too. There's a couple of things that like milestones that I want to hit, and then I hit one of them last year too, or this year. When this podcast comes up, probably last year. And I was like, okay, when I do that, I'm gonna get this, you know. But I still didn't get it, even though I should. But I did it. It was too expensive. Oh. So.
Well, speaking of goals, one of the goals this year, we said for me, when I won 4 shows in 2021, you would give me a car. And you did, and I have your car.
You do.
And I love it. But that was like a reward for an accomplishment, right?
Yeah.
So hit a goal, get a reward. Now, I'm not saying your coach is always going to give you a car. So sorry if the expectations are a bit high. They're not all going to do that. Mine's awesome, so thank you. But yeah, I mean, there's, incentive definitely motivates people.
Yeah, it does. And I think that I do. I think that that's a good thing, especially that you bring it up. That it could be a spa day, and it could be like a shoes or whatever. Mm-hmm. The other one was a watch, and I was like, it's just too flashy. That's really what it was. I was like,
look at you being modest.
I don't like it. I don't like when guys. I think flex culture is the worst thing to happen to the middle class, because it like drains their assets and money, and they instead of spending it on other things. And so,
the watch would not go with this shirt.
It would. You know what? I don't need it. What's the point? You know what I mean? Who am I trying to impress?
Right.
It was cool. And I was like, but looking at it in a case and putting it on, it's cool. But it's like, what, really wear this? I got to go to the gym and be afraid of hitting it on things.
Mm-hmm.
Afraid of getting mugged in a parking lot. Like, is it really something I need? So I didn't do it. I bought a pair of shoes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Shoes are the way to go.
Shoes are fun. I
get
just
more
have too
use
many
out
now.
of it. I mean, who needs a watch when you have a fancy new iPhone,
Oh, I like this, the mini one. Ashley's like, why would you get the mini?
I don't like it.
I love it. Look at the difference in size.
I would rather I might as well just carry on an iPad.
Look at the difference though. I love the mini.
I like having basically a full screen computer in front of my face to watch videos.
I can one hand type. It's great.
But you have to squint to see videos. Goodness.
It's a little guy.
Oh gosh. So the next one. Stick with it even when times are hard. Do not give up. And this is where we think of the end goal. So think of that end goal, the ultimate goal, rather than the temporary inconvenience, right? So I've said this before, like those, we'll be in temporary periods of discomfort while trying to achieve our goals. Like, oh my God, I'm so tired today. I don't want to do cardio. Think of the bigger picture. What is the end goal? Because you got to realize all those little daily goals add up. So anytime you're feeling not motivated, tired, lethargic, whatever, think of like, you know what? This is a mood. Okay, I'm in a bad mood right now. I'm tired, but that's not how I'm always feeling. Like, I'm not always going to feel that way. Tomorrow's going to be better. So I'm going to think of the bigger picture, the ultimate goal that's waiting for me at the end. Okay? So that should be motivation for you to be like, okay, although I'm not feeling the best today, I'm not really motivated, I'm still going to go to the gym because I really want to accomplish my bigger goal. Right? So don't think of that temporary inconvenience because it's going to happen. You got to think of the bigger picture.
Yeah, definitely. I like that. I don't really have anything else to add to that because it's just so good.
Oh, okay.
You nailed it.
So you go over the last tip there for goal
this
setting.
is important. I think this one is the most important.
Yes.
Take action.
Yes.
Take action. And actually, it was funny. I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and it was Rich Dad Poor Dad, and Grant Cardone was on it. He was like, just buy it. He was talking about like buying a house or whatever, like for real estate investments or whatever. He's like, just buy it. He's like, everyone keeps talking one day. He's like, just buy it, figure it out. Buy it and figure it out. He's like, 'cause you're never gonna do it. He's like, if you were trying to figure out Bitcoin, buy a Bitcoin, figure it out after. He's like, just figure it out. He's like, you're always gonna be able to problem solve, but you planning this perfect plan of execution and thinking about it and this and that, you just never get anything done.
Yeah.
So
it's actually one of my biggest pet peeves, and I guess the biggest determining factor of people who, in my eyes, are successful in life rather than people that aren't, is they like to talk. They will talk a big game, but they don't take action. I hate that. How many times have you heard, Adam, I'm going to compete 10 times this year, and then they end up competing once? Because they, you know what I mean? It's just like, dude, don't tell me, show me.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell me and show me for sure, but like, I don't want to hear about like this and this and this. I want you to show me. Show me you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Just go for it. Start your diet now. Don't start it next week, okay? Start it now. I don't want to hear that you're going to start your diet next week. Start it now. Just do it.
Yeah,
Go for
like
it.
This meal.
Stop talking the talk. Just walk the walk.
Yeah, it's not even tomorrow I'll start. It's this meal. Like
Just
if
do it.
If you've made the decision, just do it the next meal.
Exactly, because next week you're going to say the same thing.
And people always say, okay, well, I'll start tomorrow. I'll start Monday. I'll start January 1st. I'll start after my birthday, after my wedding, whatever. Just how about the next meal or this meal if you've already eaten it, haven't eaten it yet,
Yeah.
Like that's the moment right there.
Right.
Go, so it's the same with all aspects of life, when I bought the first prep center, I didn't even know what it was going to be. I just knew I was going to do something with it. And it was like I had to get it. That was what it was. And me and Tori were going back and forth with what we're going to do with this. We had no idea. And Tori was like, I like that you do these things because you just sort of like figure it out, and I have a few there's other things that I do too. I just started them and then figured it out along the way, And it's, I think that's the same thing with prep or getting into fitness. Like, just go for it. If you're one of the people listening to this podcast because you're thinking about getting on this fitness journey, like today's the day. Just do it. And with the prep center, in Denver, we didn't. It was actually at one point we're like, well, we'll just make it like a transformation center, because I think if you did it as a prep center, it's too scary for the general public to go. But if it was like a transformation center that also focused on it, the prep people would go. So let's kind of make it more towards that, right? So we can have those people there, right? And then I was like, no, that's not what we are. We do transformations, but everyone knows it's for prep. And if it isolates some people, then it isolates some. Like, this is this whole thing. We were trying to do okay, this is what it's going to be called. Okay, this is going to be called. Like, we're trying to figure it out along the way. Meanwhile, the building was under construction for 6 months. We had no idea what it was going to be until like 2 weeks after the construction was done. So that's just, I knew the idea would work. It just was a matter of like, hey, how is it going to even work? But most people would have their idea, their plans, or this, or that, and then they'd already perfectly know. I'm not just saying my way is good in that scenario. I think that's a little bit careless and reckless. But the point is that it works in the end. But you have to go for it. You have to take action.
Well, I mean, it's just, not necessarily, we're not trying to promote like the careless, like, I'm just going to just risk my whole money or whatever. But maybe more so like the fact that you just need to get started at least. Get started. Yeah. Don't say you're going to get started. Get started now. Just do it. Yeah. Get started.
Yes.
You make at least some steps of action towards that. Even if you are starting your diet tomorrow, then go grocery shopping today, okay? Go grocery shopping today for your diet tomorrow. Like, don't just say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and do this. And maybe you give some people some leniency if they do it like once or twice, but those people in life where you hear them say the same thing over and over. One day I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
One day I'm going to accomplish this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get started next month. And then you hear that over and over. And then it just becomes like, yeah, sure. Okay. Don't tell me, show me.
Yeah, this one will be released close to January, if not after January, depending on how the days lay out. So for everyone What's the statistic on New Year's resolutions? We'll have to know this. We'll do a New Year's one, and we'll have to know the.
This kind of was it, but
yeah, well, well, we could do it about New Year's too. The next one, okay. We'll talk about like the New Year's people who fail and why they fail or whatever. I don't know, something like that. But at least there's a stat, and I just need to know the stat. But the stat is, I forget what percentage of people.
Bad. Just say it's bad.
Yeah, what percentage of people fail within the first 14 days of their New Year's resolution? It's something wild. I forget what it is. It's a huge percentage. So yeah, I could just say it's bad. And I think a lot of it comes down to the goals, right? Because the goals might be too crazy. Like the goals might be, hey, I want to lose 50 pounds, or someone who's never even worked out before is like, I want to do a competition as like a New Year's resolution, Might be too crazy at first for those goals, So the small goals like you're talking about, the ones that work. So anyway, with that, I like that. I especially like take action.
Yes, the most important thing.
Yeah, is that your favorite one out of all these?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that either that or stick with it because, I think a lot of people, especially in today's society, just give up way too easy. They really do. And this is where that grit comes in, you know what I'm saying? You got to keep going. You're going to have obstacles. You're going to have times in your life where it's just going to be hard. It's going to be inconvenient. It's going to be uncomfortable. You got to push through, okay? Because anybody that's ever accomplished anything great has had to deal with discomfort. It's a part of reaching the goal because if it wasn't uncomfortable, everybody would be achieving that goal easily, right? So don't give up so easily. Gosh, I hate when people give up so easily. Like, come on, stick with it. Get back at it.
My favorite thing about you is that you're so, how do I say this? You're so like, okay, so you're so like, dainty and girly, but then you have this like tough, rugged, like almost like you're talking to like a football coach type of mentality.
That's funny.
When you get in these zones, and it's so funny to me because that's how I am. I'm super like old school and work hard and it's just a different mentality than a lot of people have these days. And I love when it comes out. You're like, take action, go
for it,
go
team
now. Like you're just like. It's just funny because it's the way it is, that's life. There's no BS. There's no soft coding it. Like either you do it or you don't. Your results are either going to come or they're not. And it's basically on you taking action or you're not. And there's just, there's no BS. There's no sugarcoating it for you. It's your fault if you don't get there type of attitude. And I love it because it's raw and it's the truth and people need to hear it these days because everyone's like so sensitive and so sugarcoating everything. And so, oh, it's okay if you have this, and it's okay if you take it. Like we're like, no, just go get it now. Exactly. Your fault if you don't. If you're the same, you look the same as in 2019 as in 2020. You had the same goal, then it's your fault. Do it again. Try it this time. It's just love that attitude because it's right, and no one talks about that anymore. And I love that. Like you just say how it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going from my personal experience over here.
Coach a football team.
Right, yeah. But it is true. I think a lot of people lack personal accountability these days, and I'm not sure if society is doing it or what, or the media is telling you it's okay to not be, it's okay to be lazy and not accomplish things. And I don't know, I'm very much against that. So I'm very kind of old school in my way of thinking like, no, you work hard to achieve what you want, and anything in life you can get it, but you gotta work hard and know that there's going to be obstacles and there is going to be times where you don't feel like doing it, and there's going to be setbacks, but that's life. Life isn't easy, and especially if you're trying to accomplish a goal, it's not going to be easy, guys. It's not, especially if it's an awesome goal, because everyone would just be amazing if that were the case, right?
Yeah, I like it.
So yeah.
I love it. That's the motivation talk from Ashley. I love it. Yeah. I just love it. I really do. Because you're the only one who does that these days. There's not many people who are like that.
Yeah.
I would say there's more in our industry than in any industry, though. Than in most industries, I guess I'd say. But maybe even more in ours than any, because everyone in our industry is like trained to work hard and get results. Because it's in the gym, so it's inherent that you like learn this naturally. And you start like learning these things in the gym, and you're like, oh, if I just lift harder, my butt looks better. I wonder if I did anything else harder in life. And I think it just like naturally happens in you. And I don't think it's something you really think about. You just start associating hard work with goals coming,
That's true.
And I think that our industry is really good at teaching that in terms of like life lessons for other things,
Amen.
So anyway, we'll leave it there. That was fun. That was a good one.
Heck yeah, it was.
Yeah. Usually when I say that was a good one, Ashley's like, they're all good ones.
They're all good. Come on now. Otherwise, they wouldn't be listening to the end and they wouldn't hear you say that, right?
Yes, for sure. So
if you're listening to the end, you probably thought it was at least decent. So
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. What are your goals for 2022? Put them in the comments below.
Put it in the universe. Put it in the comment section.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what we should do is we should put it in the comment section and then we should follow up in our 2023 one.
You do that, Adam. You track these people. You DM them on a daily basis and make sure.
I'm going to track them. I'm going to put an app to track these people. If I see them at like a McDonald's, I'm going to slap a burger out of their hand. All right, guys. Talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.